unfortunate. And then Honorable Peters will deal with that part of Dr. Honorable Gnuse. Well, on what Honorable Chief Whip said, we concur. We fully concur. That's the work that we're doing, and it's always good to see honorable members appreciating that kind of work and be able to make such member statements here. The socio-economic and socio-political challenge about what that degree says, it basically simply says only in the wild coast that people can live in an area where they must look good like anywhere else in the world, but they can be condemned into permanent sideline and underdevelopment. I think it's an issue that we needed as members here to look at it. We talk of sustainable development. Even the acts that we are enacting here should be able to create that. Because all people who are arguing, the argument that Honorable Nutse is making, are people who are staying on top of the sea where they come from. But they don't want people to do that in that area, which is very unfortunate. But the law, as it is said, so far forbid that or inhibit that, and it's something that we should be able to look at it before people defy the law itself. But we need to protect the pristine, the area. We all agree. That's why we talk of sustainable development. That's why we talk of protecting our biodiversity in the whole, the wild coast. But it's always said, Dr. Gnutse, when you move along, the poorest people you can think of, even here in the Eastern Cape, are along that wild coast. As you cross Mtamvuna, life changes. As you cross Kaimouth, life changes. So it's not a good thing. I don't believe that is a message that we need to communicate. We can coexist with the environment. So it's going to be important to see how our people are able to protect. We grew up in rural areas. We know how the environment has been protected in rural areas without even going to school. Similarly, our people are well educated naturally on how to protect in the environment. But we need laws. We can't sound as if we are actually speaking against the law. But we must have heart, must have feeling of those people who are staying along. They want to have a sea view, and like anywhere else. And how to make sure that you create a conducive environment for that. So, Honorable MECs can share the remaining minutes. I thought that let me just speak on that one. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Premier and Honorable members of the SOPA staff. Premier have responded to Honorable Gnutse, but I will respond to the direct question about the exodus of the staff of compliance and enforcement staff. There is no exodus that staff is leaving the institution, but they are retiring. So those who are due for retirement must be given a chance to retire, and will recruit young people to occupy those positions. And it's correct that environment and development need to coexist. And as government, our duty is to make sure that we make laws that make both possible. Because you cannot continue with development but not take care of the environment. But you cannot prioritize the environment at the expense of the livelihood of the people. So we need to balance the two. And we are working with all the stakeholders that are genuinely trying to protect the environment. And we are now busy reviewing and starting with the law that will apply to everybody. Because if you look at the former Transkei on the eastern side, it's only the previously advantaged that are allowed to stay along the sea. And the previously disadvantaged are not allowed to build their houses closer to the sea. And we are coming with a law that will talk to everybody, irrespective of the country. But what we need to do, environment and development need to coexist. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The statement by Honorable Matikizela is two-pronged. The first part, he talks about us not renewing the contract, but the second part, he talks about how the department should hold the bank accountable. And the third part talks about how we use local entrepreneurs. I think on the third part, let me start with the easier one. I think we tabled here in this house when we funded AIGC, Honorable Speaker, to on a program of identifying those mechanics, painters, and all of those entrepreneurs. The objective was to do exactly what Honorable Matikizela said, and I think the first batch of those have already graduated and have been certificated. And I think that one, we are already ahead on that one. We are agreeing on that one. The second one is that we have written to the department. One of the challenges is that the specifications in the RT contract sometimes are a challenge. We've already written to the Department of Transport to have very specific and clear specifications that will talk to the challenges that they're having. So the Department of Transport is dealing with that. But the last part, we can't just not renew the contract without anything on the table. We must be sure that when we don't renew the contract, we do have something on the table. That's why we've taken the first two steps that I've just indicated. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable MEC. That concludes the member statements, honorable members, and I will now ask the Secretary to read the first subject matter for discussion.
Ukuphendula kwenkulumbuso lungaxoxisana lenkulumbuso yekhona eMabuyane.
Thank you. I now call upon the Honorable Premier to reply.
Only have 1 hour.
So, Honorable Speaker?
Only have 1 hour.
Oh, 2 hours. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. It's difficult to look at those. They are a bit far, so keep on reminding me.
On your right-hand side, you corrected the time. There, on your left-hand side, maybe up there. There, on your left, the green. There, there's your time. Left and the right.
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the members of the Executive Council, the members of the Provincial Legislature, DG, HODs, and all government officials, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'll try, Honorable Speaker, not to disappoint as much as I would have wished to do much more. But if you allow me, Honorable Speaker, let me start this morning by indicating that indeed we are waking up to sad news of the passing of an anti-apartheid activist, Mr. Teralikoda. We would remember him as a patriot who served our country in various leadership roles, including as a Premier of Free State and Minister of Defense. We pass our sincere condolences to his family and the country. We also extend our condolences to the Goduga family following the passing of their son, their father, their cousin, the leadership that we had, our former mayor, Comrade XYZ Goduga, and also an honorable member of this august house at some point. Mr. Goduga was or will be remembered as a selfless leader who served our country with distinction. May their souls rest in peace. On a positive one, this morning I had a chat with the Minister of Finance. He's in London. And in our talking about a lot of issues of development and the economy of this province. But there was a positive that he dropped, that There is a young man that I want to congratulate this morning by the name of Umsindis Lazini, an econometrics student from University of Fort Hare, East London campus, who won an undergraduate 2026-2027 budget competition organized by Old Mutual and Nedbank. You might have seen it. So what became a cherry on top is that this is a rural fellow from England. So, but I didn't know about him up until the minister told him that there was a competition that I saw on TV. Let me continue, Honorable Speaker, by indicating that we are living in unpredictable times. When we delivered the State of the Province address last week, there were tensions of an imminent war in the Middle East. That war has become a reality after the United States of America and Israel launched a military strikes against the nation of Iran, which claimed, amongst others, the life of an Iranian supreme leader, Mr. Khamenei. It is quite concerning that second term of President Trump has been marked by disregard of international law and unprecedented military aggression against other nations. The editor-in-chief of the Gulf Today newspaper, Aisha Teriam, captured the price of war succinctly when she said, and I quote, "The cost of war is like an immeasurable tremor that knows no borders. Its shockwaves reverberating across the world, resulting in universal suffering," close quote. I'm raising this issue to highlight that we might be 12,000 kilometers away from Iran, but we are affected by what is happening in that region. For instance, the disruption of shipping lines in the Strait of Hormuz is affecting tankers that transport oil, which will lead to surge in fuel prices. Higher fuel and transport costs will raise expenses for farmers and auto sector, which we are heavily relying on. The conflict has also led to flight suspensions and cancellation in the region. And this will impact tourism to attractions such as Ado Elephant Park. We are more concerned for Eastern Cape residents working in the Gulf, in education, engineering, and other sectors who are reporting heightened anxiety from the conflict, with some facing evacuation or flight cancellations. As the Eastern Cape government, honorable members, we support the calls by our president for immediate dialogue, de-escalation, and maximum restraints to prevent further humanitarian and security crises in the Middle East. And these days, I'm just watching the Al Jazeera, and it's sad what you are looking at it on those screens. Coming back home, let me appreciate the inputs of honorable members in the debate on the state of our province. It was a lively debate and I strongly believe that some of your views come from the hearts that truly want to build a prosperous and a thriving Eastern Cape. Like Honorable May. Honorable May spoke so well, very, very, very eloquently. I don't know whether you understood him from this side. So he spoke so well, and we continued with that discussion as well this morning when we came in, Honorable Speaker, here. Appreciating work that our people are doing, the farmers that are doing, and also highlighting to me that in Langkloof there's another farmer that just planted about 25,000 trees. You can imagine how massive that opportunity that has been created for our people in that space. And if you fly over that area, your Kirkwood area, you can't believe that you are probably in the Eastern Cape. You can think, you people from Western Cape this side, you can really think that you are back home where you reside. Yeah. Oh, you're from here? Oh, you've been talking a lot about Western Cape. Okay. Okay. So at least that kind of brilliant work that is happening along that belt, from Ngushwa, your Magoma, you go deep down your Kegwood areas up as you are flying over to the Western Cape. So we really appreciate such initiatives from the patriots. However, Honorable Speaker, I observed that some of issues members raised are covered extensively in the State of the Province address. Therefore, it is either a matter of members not reading the SOPA thoroughly, or the SOPA was so good it took any points of debate from members of competition. So Honorable Ramse, people are not happy from this side, but I'm not part of them about what you have said yesterday. And we agreed that we are not going to be engaging on that. We will just have bilaterals with you and make sure that we are attending to all the concerns that you were raising here effectively.
Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, please protect me. But we don't like what you said, Honorable Ramsey, but well, we will live with it because it is part of the discussion. Whatever the case, my responsibility, honorable members, as Premier, is to nudge all parties in this House towards a common truth, which is that we are making progress in building a prosperous and a thriving Eastern Cape. Having said that, we are a frank government. We are not hiding our heads in the sand when it comes to challenges facing our province and our people. These challenges require non-partisan politics that put the interest of the Eastern Cape first in everything that we do. Somlomo siyakhathala kulo hulumende. The first task we must collectively take up in 2026 is to arrest the rising challenge of unemployment in our province. We see it in the young and old of our province who are sitting at home because the economy has not opened its doors to them. Whatever that we're doing, wherever we go, we must actually encourage innovation, encourage entrepreneurs, support entrepreneurs so that we can massively create jobs for our people. But we are not people who surrender to despair. We are the province of resilience. We defeated the mighty apartheid. Surely we can defeat the scourge of unemployment, poverty, and inequality. We have two extremely worrying categories of unemployment, Honorable Speaker. The one of young people who are not in employment, education, or training, and the one of our unemployed graduates. That one is quite worrying, and we run a risk of having a generation of young people who will not be able to compete for their jobs with their children from other provinces. Secondly, whilst we work to attract billions worth of investment to create jobs, we are taking advantage of millions of rands in grant funding available in SETAs to skill and upskill our people. Many young people are participating in skills programs we are implementing in partnership with various SETAs in this financial year. We have said we are going for SETAs, and we continue making it very clear that our young people don't have to leave our province for them to benefit on skills program of SETAs. SETAs must come down, must help our people where they are and make sure that we are able to reskill and give all the necessary tools that our young people are requiring. We're taking a leap of faith to have more training programs with all SETAs that are in existence in South Africa. We will continue with our strides as the province in ensuring that no young person is left behind in skills training and job creation opportunities. So it's going to be important that even our municipalities are looking at all those skills training, like your border training in Tanzania and others. They must be all reactivated so that we don't have young people who are loitering. All young people must be busy with something. In the Eastern Cape, we must not only focus on the manufacturing and government jobs. The private sector, particularly the tertiary economic sector, creates a lot of jobs opportunities, and our young people must take full advantage of such jobs opportunities. For instance, more people are using 60 Uber Eats and delivery to buy food and services. Unfortunately, jobs in this sector are dominated by young e-hailing drivers from neighboring countries. I've learned that the drivers for major platforms like Take a Lot often earn between 8,000 and 14,000 per month. We encourage our young people to consider such opportunities. I thought honorable members would have noted that 70% of the State of the Province address was on the economy. Equally, the word jobs were the most mentioned in the SOPA, with 32 hits precisely because of the seriousness with which we take the unemployment challenge. There is no lack of bold and strategic initiative by both government and the private sector to tackle joblessness in our province. We are creating jobs through the rollout of catalytic projects. We are upskilling the youth to be employable, and the private sector continues to invest substantially in our province. However, jobs are not enough because the economy is not growing at the rate it is expected to grow. We need our economy to grow at the minimum rate of 3%, and if we do that, we will be able to see much more difference at a macro level. As we continue in the SOPA, we will spend more time this year engaging with the private sector, organized business and youth political parties here, labor, youth formation, and other social partners to sharpen our response plans to this challenge of economic growth, with more focus on youth unemployment. Economic infrastructure is increasingly becoming a central driver of competitiveness, inclusion, and sustainability, rather than a supporting function. For us to create sustainable jobs for our people, we are building economic infrastructure that supports industrialization, value chain development, and efficient logistics across ports, roads, rail, energy, and with digital infrastructure as horizontal productivity enabler. Sometimes I get this the scary sense that honorable members do not understand the importance of infrastructure as a springboard for economic growth and job creation. The economies of the Western Cape, Gauteng, and KwaZulu-Natal are built on the backdrop of enabling economic infrastructure. We made a clarion call that we need national to treat Eastern Cape as a special case. I would have wanted honorable members from governing party and opposition to be actually hard on singing that song so that we make this necessary, not noise, call that the time for us to be treated differently, for our own development to catch up, is now. And if we'll be able to do that, I can tell you, the socio-economic outlook of our province will easily change. And that is why we appeal for support for our catalytic projects across the political divide, because once fully implemented, they will unlock unprecedented investment and job creation in our province. This province will be a construction site for the next 10 to 20 years as we ramp up road construction projects to enhance connectivity, safety, and economic growth while creating jobs and opportunities for local enterprises. I'm happy to see you, Honorable Vena, today. You used to run away on this day. I can see now you're gaining some bit of courage too. And I was quite happy because all the contribution here, they were quite productive and quite appreciating the kind of work that we are doing and moving with all the challenges that we have. So when I speak about 10 years to 20 years, okanye ungazibona nawe sokulento so inguwe ngapha ngaphambili umfaka Vena izakwenzeka yo. So it's going to be important that, colleagues, we just focus on that and we don't lose momentum, regardless of the political dynamics and all other challenges. We've got to work together and complement each other, whoever comes. I know that I will never be a premier again. 2029 is the end. The Constitution says so. There must be another new premier. Honorable Cowley. So there should be someone coming in, but we should be sustaining some good foundation. Ama-7 wazelaphi nini? Ni-appointwa nje. Kuthiwa izapha. The road infrastructure is the wheels of the economy. And it is also plays the important role of connecting our people to social services and economic centers. We spoke at length about the road infrastructure projects currently under construction in all districts and metros in our province. Today, we want to inform the House about the major projects that will be implemented in 2026. I know the executive mayor of Buffalo City was not happy with the state of the province because I didn't mention all the major road infrastructure that we are rolling out in around Buffalo City. So there's major work that we are doing to facelift N2 around Buffalo City, dueling the road as you go towards Braakfontein, improving our interchanges there. So you will see a quite facelift Buffalo City soon, as you would have seen somewhere when you move towards Mngoma. The roads, amongst roads that we will be rolling out in this financial year will be your N2 from Tendu Bridge to Kulumbe, R415, R415, I'm sorry, R415 from Maluti to Kashasnek, R61 Tojana to Tsomo, and provincial roads maintenance that were rolling out massively. Nobo Pegapa Gondevana, Pagamisa, Uchigalangapa, Yongalandlela, Siayenza, Ibesem Kangatwin. So we are really working in improving our road network. Nobuya Paglandela, Ase Kocha, Eyagugozayo, Ibigadi Kalas, Landela as we speak, contractor is on site. In major of these roads that needs an urgent attention, contractors are now on site and the Department of Transport is rolling up its sleeves. We might have delayed, but you better be late than never. And that work is actually now happening. Yes, we agree with comrades, with colleagues here, that in the Eastern Cape, we must do less of differentiation between the access road and the provincial road. Let's talk rural roads so that our network is well looked after and well maintained. Yes, of course, our municipalities are still tasked to focus on the access road. But because of limited budget, we're going to forever be experiencing those low-lying bridges because they can't have enough money to build such sort of bridges that are there. In the next 2 to 3 years, we should all look forward to the completion of the N2 Wild Coast, the highway road, a 10 billion project linking Eastern Cape to KZN that we've been speaking about here. When we started speaking about it, people were thinking that we were daydreaming. And now it is happening. Similarly to Mzimvubu and Ndabelanga, people thought that we were just speaking these dreams that they think we have. But those things that are now happening. Now, what is good about the Wild Coast one is a lot of those packages that are connecting our people through paved roads as well as surface roads into that space. Now we're working on greenfields, turning those greenfields into brownfields and surfacing those roads. It's a nice, I would wish to invite members of this House, please do your oversight so that you don't come here and speak in abstract. Go there, you are supported as members of this House, go there and visit those sites and see how marvelous the work that is being done into that part of the country. You know, when we speak about 2 bridges, people think that we're only focusing. There are a number of major bridges, but at the level of that scale, those bridges, we don't talk about them much. Whether we talk about Mtamvuna, the bridge in Mtamvuna, which connects Port Edward and Mbizana, there will be a new bridge built, not the one that we're seeing now, that we are using, where the N2 new one will be crossing over. There are a couple of such bridges, including a bridge in Mzimvubu that will be built, a new bridge in Mzimvubu, not the one that you are now crossing over from Port St. John's as you are moving towards Lusikisiki. I must indicate, Honorable Speaker, that the Eastern Cape Seaport development is beyond what people think it is, and many projects are already being implemented, which include Mzimvubu Dam, Welisizwe Bridges program, and the Wild Coast Industrial Park. So that's the Eastern Seaboard. So we've got to repeal our laws. We've got to align our laws, Honorable Williams, because the N2 highway is going to be an epicenter to your smart city, to a lot of issues, developmental issues that must be taking place there. It will make many people, Honorable Knut said, to move towards the Indian Ocean, because those roads, we will be connecting Mboji, as we were talking here, from N2 to Mboji. That road is going to be worked, it's going to be surfaced, it's going to be easy to go down the Mboji via your Magwati and all that. So ndithetha ke ngendawo endizaziyo endihamba kuzo ndawuvantana. We shared with the House enough information about the bulk water infrastructure projects that we are implementing in all districts. Go back to that speech and see what are we trying to do as government to address the chronic problem of water supply or water reticulation. The problem has always been a source. Now we're focusing on the bulk, those dams that we mentioned that are happening. Today, we want to inform the House that the construction of access road to the Ndabelanga dam site is 89% complete. Ndabelanga ke part of Mzimvubu. We said, let's stagger the implementation of Mzimvubu. We're starting with another part of Mzimvubu, which is now called the source, the Ndabelanga part of it. But Mzimvubu is a multi-purpose dam, which will be able to bring us the hydropower and all issues that we have spoken about. We'll continue with that, but we're starting with this one at 9 billion. And we're expecting this project to be done by 2031. Ndifuna ukucela nje abantu basemhlonto basincede. Ibuhlungu into basenze ezi project, Honorable Sondaba. But people, when they complain about something, they close the site. These are big monies that are delaying us. These are life-changing infrastructure projects. So let's think about our kids, not think about us. Let's think about our kids so that our kids have a better future than the future we had. We spoke at length in the SOPA about the work we are doing with the Transnet Ports Authority to develop and expand capacity of our 3 commercial ports of Ngquqa, Port Elizabeth, and East London. Collectively, these ports serve as the gateways for automotive exports, manganese, agricultural products, and containerized cargo. We want to assure the House that we are in constant engagement with the Transnet Port Authority for them to unlock the delays in the implementation of infrastructure. I've stopped being a premier. I view myself as a councillor, as a ward councillor. I literally roll up my sleeves and talk to CEO, talk to whoever, chairman of the board, because I can't wait for a report which I don't know when is it going to come. I demand this report because we need that passion, all of us, to drive the economic development of this province. As we all know, port activity stimulates transport, warehousing, insurance, freight, forwarding, customs, brokerage, and maritime legal services. We are insisting to Transport Port Authority that fragmented project by project approaches are no longer viable for the Eastern Cape. What is required is a coherent, prioritized, and inevitable infrastructure pipeline that is explicitly aligned with our economic development. Energy availability, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members, and a grid capacity remain among the most binding constraints to economic growth and investment in our province. Key transmissions projects have received environmental authorization, although implementation timelines remain uncertain. Importantly, the Provincial Green Hydrogen Strategy has been approved by Executive Council, providing clear strategy framework for advancing this emerging sector. I'm quite happy that National has set up an IMC, which is convened by the Deputy President, which shows the level of focus from government in seeing that we are able to look at the green hydrogen initiative. Last week, we had a meeting on Friday, which was convened by President with a couple of ministers in the cluster, all premiers that are affected by these new developments of green hydrogen. So we were presenting. While I was presenting here on Thursday, I was also presenting in that meeting, talking about our strategy as a province around the green hydrogen. So the work is being done. We must turn the prospective potential of oil and gas that our province is endowed with into real opportunities to grow our economy and create jobs. The 3.4 trillion cubic feet of gas discovered by Total Energies and the 200 trillion cubic feet of prospective shale gas in the Karoo. The work that is being done, the exploration now, just to sensitize and make our people aware about all what we are doing. The Hive green hydrogen, the 100 billion project that we spoke about here in the last SOPA, and the nuclear power station project at Dainspend are catalytic projects that we should all pull our weight behind, as they will change the economic landscape of our province. I hear less from you, honorable members, about this nuclear project, even though it's taking place in the municipality under you. You should be speaking loud about it. Then so you will be exposed soon. We need this. These are key projects that will turn this province into something that we have never seen before. So I'm already in constant discussion with the Total Energies to make sure that we revive their appetite, because they've been pushed back a lot by the Greenies and all that. We are waiting for the Constitutional Court ruling on the shale exploration, seismic exploration in the Wild Coast. We need them. We will protect fish and their eggs there, but we need these to happen. They must actually happen. Another game-changing initiative that has been brought to my attention is a 60 billion investment in the Eastern Cape for energy projects by Dim Sum Energy. They are currently developing a 2,000 megawatts integrated energy facility near Somerset East. This will ensure a reliable and affordable electricity supply to all residents and businesses in the Eastern Cape, because it will also be linking up down to Gqeberha. But whatever we do, we must be guided by ecological sustainable development. We are not at war with environmentalists. All we are saying is that environment protection and development can go hand to hand. Honorable Speaker, we have said many times that the unemployment challenge in our province is structural in nature. The Eastern Cape economy has demonstrated resilience in line with the national trends. However, economic growth is hampered by the limited number of productive and trade-linked sectors. Having said that, we have a significant opportunity to scale up targeted public and private investment in economic infrastructure, energy systems, industrial platforms, and logistics to generate high economic returns by reversing capital erosion and lowering the cost of doing business in our province. Towards the end of this year, honorable members, we will therefore host a fifth installment of our provincial investment conference with the aim of raising investment worth 50 billion. We are looking for investment that are aligned with our growth frontier, namely manufacturing, agriculture, tourism, oceans economy, and digital transformation. I'm quite optimistic that the investment conference will attract tangible pledges that will lead to job creations. The project that we're updating you about now are the project that we came here, spoke about then. People thought that it's something that is existing only in our figment of imagination. We're talking about them now concretely being taken to another level. The automotive manufacturing continues to serve as a strategic anchor of the Eastern Cape economy, underpinning export, industrial employment, and supply development. Last week, Ms. Martina Bini, the chairperson and managing director of Volkswagen Group Africa, told me that despite significant and multiple competitive pressures, including the influx of highly subsidized cheap imports, Volkswagen Group Africa remains committed to deepening its investment in South Africa. She shared with me the good news that they are expanding local manufacturing with that launch, which we spoke about last time, of the Tango mini SUV in 2027. This is a massive investment of 4 billion, prioritizing skills development, technology transfer, local supplier development, and job creation. We wish to share with the House that Volkswagen Group will mark 75 years of manufacturing from their Kariaga plant, and it is a milestone worth of celebration. We've already been invited because they are the largest private sector employer in the province, and 77% of their supplier base is from the province. We repeat what we said in SOPA, that the slow pace of national government in creating a policy certainty environment is threatening the existence of automotive sector in the Eastern Cape and the livelihood of our people. We are working, I'm talking to the minister, and I know now they are really in a very good speed and momentum to ensure that we are addressing these problems and bottlenecks that are inhibiting these necessary reforms into this sector. We're safeguarding the automotive jobs we have while venturing into the new markets to attract new OEMs to locate in our province. In the coming months, we are optimistic of signing a 6.4 billion investment with OEM that wants to establish a completely knocked down facility at the East London ITZ. This investment has the potential to create 8,000 jobs. Besides this, as we speak, already there is a company called Geely from Zhejiang. Zhejiang is the province that has got our we have got a twinning agreement with. Their delegation is already here in the province. They've been touring our SZ, looking for potential where they can also land. That is also facilitated by DTIC. It was reported in our national meetings. So we are getting closer into that so that we don't miss this opportunity, as Honorable Kunuze, you would have actually raised even earlier on, that we are that hub, auto sector hub of the entire country. Skill, everything is found here. For any investor that wants to invest in the auto sector, the first place you should be able to look for is this one. But if you look at the market, particularly the Asian investors, they are looking for the market. And if the market in terms of population is in Gauteng and KZ, and they will be going where the market is so that they can easily get, because they are not more looking for export. Unfortunately, the old OEMs that have been in our province, they've been doing more for export, particularly the Europe and the US. Honorable members, agriculture and agro-processing represent a critical growth frontier for rural development. Employment creation and food security in the Eastern Cape. They've been, the agriculture and agro-processing have been key into that food security in the province. Historically, the provincial economy has had insufficient beneficiation processing capacity and market integration in this sector. We are changing that anomaly by shifting towards higher value-adding activities. Thus, we approve the procurement of agricultural products model, which will localize 2.6 billion in food procurement spend and create jobs in our province. Ndifuna yenzeke ke lento. Emisiwa kwa health, emisiwa kwa education, emisiwa kwa economic development, emisiwa kwa agriculture. We should not just easily develop policies and those policies don't find expression when the procurement regime comes. We are not in a short supply of any agricultural products in this province to make this model work for our economy. We are not in short supply of any agricultural products in this province to make this model work for our economy. Milk is available in farms such as Amadlelo dairies, in Ngoga, Middle Drift, Kiskama, Hook, and Naseforte. Fresh vegetables are also available at Zanyokwe and Kamata irrigation schemes. Red meat is available from 98 registered abattoirs across the province. Poultry and poultry products are available from various producers, including Fort Cox, Eastgate Farm, and Vena Cooperative. Fresh fruit is available from Ripley Meat, Park House in Ngoshwa, Langkloof that I spoke about with the Honorable May, and from pineapple growers in Ngoshwa and Buffalo City municipalities. Tea is available at Magwa and Majola Estate in Lusikisiki. Sizawujika izinto ngazo zonke ezi we have identified siyazibona. Let's put more into that. What we need to do now is to enhance the East London ITZ Science Technology Park Agro-Innovation Cluster, which is supporting early stage and scaling agro-processing enterprises through access to shared infrastructure, incubation support, and market linkage. As we mentioned in the State of the Province address, phase 1 of the Wild Coast SEZ is almost complete. We will be turning sought for 2 investors at the Wild Coast Industrial Park this year. It is important to inform the House that our implementing agent, KUHA, resubmitted an application to the DTIC for the Wild Coast Industrial Park to be designated as a fully fledged special economic zone. This is important to get adequate funding to build top structures for more investors and turn the socio-economic outlook of the eastern part of the Eastern Cape. 2 more applications for the designation of the Nelson Mandela Bay Logistic Park and the KUHA Pharmaceutical and Vaccines Zone are also with DTIC. We expect a positive response for these applications in the next 6 months, as they would contribute to economic growth and create more jobs in our province. The digital economy is an emerging but underdeveloped sector in our province. While demand for digital services is increasing, the ecosystem has historically been fragmented, with the lack of connectivity infrastructure glaring in some parts of the province. Digital hubs and the data lake initiatives are being leveraged to improve operational efficiencies and attract new off-takers at KUHA SEZ. At the East London ITZ, the data center is emerging as an anchor investment with 6 ICT clients already being secured, with 6 potential clients in the pipeline. Even in our discussion with Minister of Finance this morning, it was a follow-up on another potential investor that is ready to set up in East London ITZ that our department is in contact with. And the HOD has confirmed that with me, that has already initiated a discussion with the potential of creating about 6,000 jobs for our young people who must be employed in that particular data center. Our coastline, yes. Our coastline, its biodiversity, as I've said, and cultural heritage present strong prospects for tourism growth. Investment in destination infrastructure and hospitality value chains can unlock significant employment potential. We are improving access to the Eastern Cape through improvements on road infrastructure and implementation of airlift strategy with a view to increased flights to our province. We spoke about the investment that AXA is doing, particularly in Davis Tirman International Airport. And we are continuing to drive wildlife transformation to improve ecotourism. For 2026, we plan to transfer 348 animals to deserving previously disadvantaged landowners, adding to the 1,200 animals transferred already over the last 5 years. We are transforming that particular sector. Protected areas, would want to see our people who sits adjacent or around these must be able to be a protagonist or active participants in terms of benefiting. Honorable members, we are a province that understand that education is a liberation tool. As we speak today, Honorable MEC Gade uyovula isikolo ngaphaya eMthatha as we speak Glendown Tetago. As such, we will strengthen our social compact with teachers, parents and learners to ensure our learners achieve quality results in all grades. We intend to build on the 84% pass rate of the class of 2025 by mobilizing additional investment in digital transition for learning material and explore ways to provide assistive modules that will enhance teacher-learner shared learning opportunities. The Eastern Cape has made significant progress in education or educational attainment. Unblocked several obstacles to improving essential education quality. We've improved investment in school infrastructure and provision of learning materials to our schools. These are essential to ensure quality teaching and learning. Going forward, honorable members, we are going to empower schools with more physical resources, appoint competent school leadership, and an accountable teacher workforce. Our focus areas will include early childhood development, special schools and implementing measures to prevent dropouts from the middle to high schools. In the foundational classes, we aim to promote streams with solid foundation in STEM, reading, writing, as well as comprehension skills. On the apex, Honorable Kaule, on the apex priority of health, government is shifting from a reactive crisis management model to a proactive, future-built healthcare system. Our strategy is anchored in the primary healthcare as the point of entry, system digitalization, and rigorous defense against medical legal challenges that have historically drained our resources. We are not just participating in the sector, we are leading it with a homegrown innovation. Our focus on the experience of care is yielding measurable improvements in the lives of our citizens. We've seen the significant rise in the life expectancy, as we have reported in the SOPA, particularly on females and males. Through this backlog intervention, radiation oncology waiting times at Livingston Hospital plummeted from 18 months to just 14 days by December 2025. Our flagship infertility program provides disadvantaged women access to specialist care previously only available in the private sector. We are seeing a steady downward trend in teenage pregnancy, with cases dropping from 661 in 2020 to 2021 to about 175 in the April-September 2025. Honorable Speaker, the Eastern Cape is currently a pioneer in health technology and organizational design. Our in-house developed electronic health system, HMS2, has been so successful, it is being adopted as a national hospital system. The health patient registration system is already acting as the foundational layer for NHI implementation. We are no longer a department defined by its challenges, but by its solutions. By professionalizing our community health workers with 3,718 appointed and digitizing our facilities, we are building a resilient NHI-ready Eastern Cape. In her response, we have employed more than 500 doctors, but it must be understood, colleagues, that not everybody. You can imagine if we will stand up and say everybody who has been given a bursary by government will therefore be employed by government. Remember, we're not giving bursaries only on doctors. We're giving bursaries across the socio-economic spectrum. So it's important. That's why we needed to turn those doctors into entrepreneurs so that they can open up their own private practices and support, as we're doing with lawyers. Many lawyers who are now qualifying as advocates, etc., we are supporting them through Siqalo and others to set up their own. So we've got just to have our young people being moved from this idea of being the people to be employed, not to be able to create jobs. So, but where there are opportunities, we are always prioritizing doctors to ensure that we have got enough doctors in our healthcare centers. While our province has accelerated integrated management of childhood illnesses, there's always a need for community health programs to empower families and communities. We appreciate our partners such as the Black Coffee Foundation, Oceana Group, Gift of Givers, and many, many others who are helping us to fight the malnutrition challenge. Somlomo sisonke kumsebenzi wakakha iphondo leMpuma Kapa esiyifunayo. Sectoral performance and investment trends demonstrate that the Eastern Cape priority growth frontiers are all commercial, viable, and increasingly investor relevant. However, the scale, pace, and sustainable of growth across these sectors continue to be constrained by a common set of structural, institutional, and coordination challenges. We are therefore shifting the role of the state from the direct participation in economic activity towards a strategic enablement, coordination, and a risk mitigation. Regulatory fragmentation, lengthy approval processes, and misalignment across spheres of government should be a thing of the past. We are therefore strengthening the whole of government investment facilitation. This will be centered around an effective one-stop shop model supported by improved coordination between the provincial departments, municipalities, and state-owned entities, and national government. That's why we'll never stop continuing pursuing the Bishop Precinct. And I've told the MECs, Finance and Public Works that if through our own government support we can't, let's go for the private, for public-private partnership. The BOT is what is happening. We all know now that N2, N4, they were given to the private sector, and a kind of an agreement was reached, but now they are back to the state. They are owned by the state. So we should be able to do that, because anyway we'll be renting those, because we need to see, and we cannot finish this term without that Bishop Precinct being up and running. It will help us to improve performance of government when all employees are able to report in the same place. This government will also play a more active role in unblocking stalled and delayed strategic investment through executive level escalation mechanism and dedicated project facilitation. We will solidify our system to improve the standard we set in the recent audit outcomes for provincial and public entities. Fixing local government and supporting municipalities to be functional are among the main tasks for the provincial government. Our focus will be on strengthening governance and accountability through implementing the rigorous evidence-based monitoring and evaluation performance, enhancing financial management, improving operational capacity and service delivery, fostering partnership by using a district development model to support municipalities with technical assistance to improve infrastructure and service delivery. Honorable members, equally pressing in our program of governance is the determined fight against crime and corruption. In that also including the gender-based violence that has been spoken about at length. It is now declared as a national disaster, and we must do everything in our power to see to it that we are stopping the gender-based violence. And also, the Speaker reminded in her opening remarks here this morning that as we move towards the Women International Day on the 8th of March, we should be marching strong towards confronting these societal ills. We are therefore intensifying our collective efforts with the law enforcement agencies and community structures to confront the scourge of crime, as I've just indicated, particularly on the ongoing tragedy of gender-based violence and femicide, as well as the problem that we continue experiencing in the eastern part of the province of stock theft. This stock theft thing is painful and it's very bad, and as we said, we are in anticipation of the deployment of the soldiers working with South African police services to ensure that we root out all this. We're quite pleased with the work that has been done by Hawks under the leadership of General Ngwenya in our province, quite responsive. Every time you are hinting, you are giving them this, they are able to make a follow-up. Now being supported by the TRT as well as NIU, I think we are normalizing our province. Siyekile ngokuba lihlathi lozimela izigwinta ezimosha kwezinye provinces. If uza apha, you are likely to be confronted by our men in blue, men and women in blue, because they are combat ready. We really appreciate that, and we'll be addressing the leadership issues for stability in that particular sector. Honorable members, we recognize and deeply value the immense contribution of the cultural and creative sport industries, which contribute an estimated 4% to our country's GDP and sustain approximately 1.4 million jobs. These sectors are not only drivers of economic growth, but also powerful platform for social cohesion, national identity, and a global recognition. It is therefore with a great excitement that we look forward to welcoming the world to the home of legends when South Africa hosts matches of the Cricket World Cup in Kugombo, Gqeberha next year in February. This prestigious global tournament presents a significant opportunity to showcase our province's rich heritage, vibrant culture, sporting excellence and warm hospitality. We are confident that this event will stimulate local economic activities, promote tourism, and further position our province as a leading destination for the international sporting events. Let me conclude, Honorable Speaker, before my time is up. Last week we delivered a comprehensive State of the Province address which outlined the positive trajectory that the ANC-led government is taking this province to. We have defined the tasks and actions that we will be undertaking in the 2026 and beyond. We are calling all members. The issue that we are confronted with doesn't want opposition, and it needs all of us. All hands on the deck, all shoulders on the wheels to ensure that we are able to take our province to a higher pedestal. We are confident that today is better than yesterday, and tomorrow surely will be better than today. We are a government that is united, disciplined, and relentless in executing our mandate. Let us roll up our sleeves once again. Let us get all our hands dirty in doing what is good for our province. Siyakha, siyakhathala, siyaphambili, sisonke. Enkosi. I'm done. I'm done. What is that word? Lubabalo.
5 minutes.
Stand up one. And when Zanga does it.